Hey, welcome to the 11th section of this course. In this part, we are going to be adding monetization. So at this point, we can start seeing a couple of cents come in when we publish this game. And to do so, we will be adding, of course, advertisement. Advertisement will be done with Unity ads. And we are going to be setting up our scene and also our code before we set up the actual collaboration, not cover, before we set up the actual services. So to proceed, I am going to create a new script that will be some sort of manager. We tend to do that a lot now, and it's going to be a nice way to wrap this up, I believe. Let's create a script called add manager. In here, we'll define a couple of things, and we'll start with the usual line of code we have at the top of one of our managers. So the instances, the static instances. All right, then we'll also need a private void awake and say instance is equal to this. Perfect. Now we'll have a reference of this pretty much anywhere we go. And then next up, we want to add two fields here. We can call them the configurable field, but basically this is what is going to be referenced on Unity ads and also a rewarded video placement ID. This is a string that we'll use to say, hey, this video is a reward video and the player is getting something out of watching this video. Okay. Now, what we would do next is start looking into adding the advertisement namespace, but I believe we actually can't do that because we don't have it inside of our services, our active services. So I don't see it right here, which means we'll have to enable the service. Okay, so I just figured out something here. We are not actually getting anything when we toggle this on. We're not getting what I was expecting to get. Instead, we need to get our advertisement package through the package manager now. It's a new thing that I completely forgot. I'm new to the whole process, that's why. But we have to head under Window, Package Manager, and here under the Package Manager, we will be looking for, let's look for all the packages. We have one called Advertisement, here it is. It is currently on 3.4.9, which is the verified version. And I'll go ahead and I'll install that. 3.4.9. And after a little bit, we should then have the proper reference in the script we were actually attempting to write. So this one. All right, so this one is installed. As you can see, you have the little check mark here, which means everything is good. We can close this off, open up our project once more, and see that advertisement is now working. And do note that there's a S here, advertisement with an S. And at this point, we should be able to call the advertisement static class, which is right here. And we'll start it with a initialize with the game ID. And are we in test mode? You know what? We can write through over here. Or I believe if we just leave it like that, there's chances we might have it transfer over for what do you have in Unity? I'm not sure. But let's input through and make sure we toggle it off later on. Actually, you know what? Let's go here and create a new field. A serialized field, Boolean test mode. And I'll just input that right there. Okay. And then from anywhere else in the code, I'd like to call a simple function, which is going to be show rewarded ad. And we have to do a couple of things here. There's a data class called show option that we can just create like so. If we have a look, what do they give us? Gamer SID and also result callback, which is deprecated. So it doesn't really help us much here. I don't remember what this is, I'll be frank with you. But we have to pass it in as a parameter for advertisement.show. We show with the rewarded video placement ID and also the show option. And I believe that is actually it. So that's all we need to wrap up this ad manager. And the reason that's all we need, and you're going to be asking yourself, well, things happen, and how do we know that these things happen? These we'll call events that we can subscribe to through a interface. Actually, it sounds a little bit complicated what I said, but I'll show you the simple implementation under our game state def. So as of right now, we are going to close this off, minimize, not close, and add the ad manager on top of our game manager. So over here, ad manager is here. We are in test mode. We will find a game ID fairly soon and also a reward video placement ID fairly soon. But if you have everything here, the ad manager is on top. We press on play, nothing happens. That's completely fine. Actually, you know what? Invalid configuration. That's what we kind of wanted here because we don't have a game ID. But this is normal, so just leave it as is. And in the next video, we're going to be getting ourselves a game ID, a rewarded video placement ID, and then we'll start implementing the actual logic behind the game's type def. Okay, I'll see you there. Welcome back. Last time we left off, we were in need of a game ID and also a reward video placement ID for the ads we were going to play on our game. Now, we don't have these at the moment, and we need to go get these off the Unity ads dashboard, and that's what we'll do. So I invite you to open up the services. If you don't have that tab, Window, General Services. Under Ads, we will open up the dashboard. So go to Dashboard. Do note that you will have to actually log in and get into your account. So of course, you'll need your Unity ID for that. And you will enter this page, which is basically your dashboard that will let you know how much money you've made and so on. Here I have a fresh new organization and I have no profit, and it's a little bit sad to look at. But that being said, you can go under project, find your project name. In my case here, that would be runner. This project name is actually defined under, I believe, your project name in Unity. So if you head over to File, Build Setting, Player Settings, yeah, product name is runner in this case. And in here, we can go under the monetization tab and also the placement ads. Now, placement, we already have a couple of settings here. That's great because that's exactly what we'll need. You'll find over here your ID. You have the ID for the Apple App Store and also for the Google Play Store. In our case, we're running ads on Google Play at the moment. So I'll do a copy to clipboard. I'll head back under my code. Actually, not my code. This is actually an object on top of my ad manager. Paste in my game ID. So 3824301. Then I will also need a reward video placement ID, which luckily for us, they already defined. So there's already one right here. It's a video of type reward video. It's a playable video and it's not skippable. So you can pretty much modify the things you need here. Audio is not muted. We can't skip it. And this video is, oh yeah, you can have a video. You can also have a playable. And I don't know what display is. I believe I've never actually experimented with that just far, but those are the type of ads. Playable is something that is interactive. So you might have an ad that you can play on. You can actually have inputs in that ad. Placement name, placement ID. Okay, that's totally fine with me. We need to copy this over. So the rewarded video, the ID, we'll need to copy that over because that's the one we'll be using. We won't be using the regular video. We don't want to put ads in the middle of our game randomly. Of course, you could if you wish, but in my case, I just want to play ads when the person wants to revive the penguin. And I'm going to copy this over, put it under the rewarded video placement. And just like so, now I should have what I need. So if I am to click on play, let's see if we get a problem still. It doesn't seem like we got any problem. And we're pretty much ready to implement this in our game, which is going to be fairly simple. And it's going to be all done in the game state def. Why there? Because that's where we use the logic for the ads. Now, when it comes to listening when the ad is done, if the ad was completed successfully, you can do that through an interface that we'll define here at the top. It is called iUnity Ads Listener. And you won't see it pop up unless you are using Unity Engine.advertisement. And once you have that and you type that in, it's going to tell you a couple of things. It's missing 4 different functions, and we will need to implement these 4 functions. There's a good way to do that fairly simply. It's to choose this whole text, hit Control dot, and implement interface. It lay down 4 new functions. One, once the ad is ready. If add an issue. if it did start and if it did finish. So when the ad is ready, that should be called right away when the game starts. And I don't want to implement that. I actually don't need to do anything here. It's something that I also do not plan on implementing here. We could do a debug.log, however, that let us know what the problem is. So debug log that message. Next up, we have on Unity ads start. So what do we do when the ad starts? We really have nothing to do here as well. We can acknowledge that it has started just by having the ad pop up in our face. Now the place where it matters is right here, on Unity ads finish. And you'll see we'll get the placement ID, which we know which one it is because we're only using one throughout the whole game, and that's the rewarded video, and then the show result, which we can do a switch case on. So this is what we'll do. As soon as we receive the result, we're going to do a show result in a switch. And then for the cases, you have failed, finish, or skip. We don't have the option to skip in our case, so we'll do both fail and finished. We can do default here. That really does nothing really. And what do we do when we fail? Well, if we fail somehow, if the ad stops playing midway, if there's a crash, if something bad happens, let's send our player to the menu. And this way he can keep on playing, like he has the full loop. However, maybe the ads are not loaded because he's no longer on the network and he's no longer getting those ads. There can be a couple of reasons why it happens. And just as a fail safe, let's send it over to the menu. Now, if the ad is finished, however, now is when we want to do a resume player. That is when we want to go back and do, I don't want to call it resume game here. Oh yeah, we have to. Okay, so resume game. We want to call the resume game, and then we'll reroute whatever we have going there in a moment. And that being said, once we resume the game, we respawn the player, and the state is being changed. So I believe that's fine over here. One thing we could do on top of that is once we enter here, we can turn off the completion circle. So the completion circle is what is the thing that actually turns. We don't want to give it to the player twice. So that's very important. We can revive only once per play session. Else, there's nothing stopping our player from reviving a couple of times and like indefinitely until he gets the highest score. I mean, that's not how I wish the game is played. So I'm just going to stop that mechanic completely by hiding this completion circle once we revive once, and we will have to toggle it back on somewhere else. All right, so we've got everything we need down here. The only problem we have thus far is that once we die and we click on the button, we have the resume game being triggered already. We have to go through an ad first. So what we'll do, we'll create a new public function that we can call try resume game, which basically is being translated to show an ad. And in here, we'll do ad manager dot instance dot show rewarded ad, just like so. And then we will reroute whatever we had prior. So once we go under the game state def, or sorry, that's the we have to go on the actual UI, find the revive button, and here we had revive, so and actually resume game. So game state def resume game. Instead of that, we will do try resume game. And let's give this a try. Oh, maybe I want to disable this UI first. Run into the wall. Click here, an ad is being played. We go back, and we were not revived. Okay, why is that actually? So I have to figure out. Oh, I just realized why this didn't work. We will need a start statement over here because we need to subscribe this whole script. This whole component needs to be subscribed to advertisement. So advertisement add listener this. And now we can actually receive those events. So what would happen prior is that we would call an ad, but these down here would not be called for the sole purpose that they were not being added to, you could say, the events. So now this whole component is added, and these function will be triggered depending on what happens. So going back under my shop, oh, not shop, the play button, we are going to run into a wall, try to revive, close, and then we're being revived properly. Now I'd like to do one more thing before we end this off, and it's to stop the user from being able to revive more than once. So as you can see here, I died, I revived, and then I can do it again. And the problem is because we have our completion circle being set to true every time we reconstruct the state, and this happens every time we die. So that's not something we'd like to have here. How should we go and turn this one off? Well, it's something I like to do every time we start the game session. So maybe I'll grab this line of code and I'll create a new function for it. Enable revive. And I'm just going to paste it in here. Make sure it's no longer a part of the construct. So I deleted it from the construct. I now have it inside of a function called enable revive. And during the update state, we turn it off in case it goes beyond a certain point. So do note that this is happening, this is turning it off, but not only that is turning it off, but also once we consume it. So over here, okay, that being said, we'll need to call enable revive at least once every time we start the game. And we could be doing that under the game state initialize. Yeah, so over here, we restart the session under the game stats. We could also grab a reference to the game state def and call that there. And the reason I'm doing it here is because we cannot put it under the game state game construct simply because we go back to that state after dying. So we need to do it only once, and that's a good place to do it only once over here. However, we'll need a reference to that. So maybe here we'll cheat and we'll do a find object of tape. Oh, actually, you know what? We're on top of that object. So we can do a get component type of game state def and then call the enable revive. And that should be the final touch to this little add inclusion in our game, which was very simple. I really do enjoy this new package that Unity gave us. You subscribe to it when you need to, and yeah, that's good enough. So during this play session, I can revive, and then I'm going to die again, and I should not be able to. Yeah, so I don't have the option twice. Then I go back, play again, should have the option this time, and I do. So the whole flow seems to be working just fine. That's actually where we're going to be ending our section on ads. We did it in a fairly simple manner. It was quite fast, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Now you can start looking at your profit go up. Make sure that once you're ready, you go on your game manager and you toggle off the test mode. That's going to be fairly important. If you just give it one try, I'm just going to give it one try, see how it looks like. I believe you can't actually get ads in the editor. Yeah, no, you can't. But if you're to build this on your phone right now, you should be getting a real ad. So if you wish, you can go ahead and give it one try. Just don't abuse the system because you're going to get caught. That being said, I will see you in the next section in which we will start making this game look a lot better. So they always say the last 20% is the hardest. Yeah, we're going to have to create content, make this look good. So it's going to be quite hard, but we're going to have fun. And as we do it, the game is going to increase in value very, very fast. So that being said, I'll see you there.